And we're back. Thank you for tuning in to CL Radio here at the Rapology Show. Remember, guys, we're here from on every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. Before the break, we were talking about talking to the Don, as they say,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Shagan here, the insurance expert. He was telling us, giving us a lot of great information about claims and explaining basically the overall process of how insurance works typically in disaster type situations. And we were talking about car insurance and things like that before we left the break. And so people have been hitting me up here asking questions. So I got a question here for you that I wanted to pose. So it says, let's see here. Why do insurance companies over-insure their homeowners? Is what the question was, and I can kind of go into that and explain if you need more detailed, need more of an explanation of that. But do you find that most insurance companies over-insure? Yeah, you go in and say, hey man, I only really have a 20, I don't know, I only really need I have 20, let's just say I have $23,000 worth of valuables. They'll say, hey, well, let's put you on $100,000 policy.
Oh, so yeah, I would need more information because that's not.
That's normally how it, not normally how it goes. So the person said, hey, I just got a quote where one company asked, how much coverage do I want? So I went, it said about maybe 25 to 50K or more or less. Whereas
is this homeowners or auto?
Homeowners.
Okay.
And it says, whereas another company automatically said set the coverage at 500K on a $300,000 home, where I knew the coverage amount would elevate premiums, deductibles, and all that stuff. That's kind of it's kind of some of the background.
So, is that what the underwriter's telling them, or is that what the agent?
Yeah, I think the agent. Yeah, yeah. Based on the information I'm getting, it sounds like it appears to be. I'm assuming the agent.
So they have to remember that they can choose the level of coverage that they want. So whatever now it's better to have more insurance than not enough.
Right.
But they have final say over what's offered, from what's offered to them. They it's a unilateral contract. So if they're offering you that, you don't have to take you could say this is the level of coverage of state regulated coverage that I want.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they don't have to go with what they're, suggesting.
Yeah.
But it's good to have. It is good to have more than enough coverage.
Gotcha.
It's better to have more than enough than not enough.
Yeah, because when time comes, you need enough.
Yeah, it's like food. It's better to have more than enough than not enough.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, like I said, I'm sure they're listening right now. And if you have more questions, definitely the phone lines are open, 832-846-6226. Don't sit back and, wish I coulda, shoulda asked those questions. Call in right now because we got the expert in the house here, the Don is what they call it.
Glad to be here.
Exactly.
On this today, my daughter's with.
Well, let me ask the Don a question because right now I'm in a crisis right now.
Okay.
Don, are your ears ringing like mine? Because this guy was just basing his voice. It's cute. I don't know if you can cut your mic down a little bit or something.
Hey, listen,
you see me over here, I'm trying to adjust these headphones.
I was in the Army.
Yeah.
When you next to a line,
actually, we got a call in. Looks like we got a call in.
Let's get this call.
All right. Hello, you're on the air. How may we help you?
Hey, I'm actually wanting to chime in on that last statement around coverage on homeowners insurance. And so, obviously, I'm here in Houston and I'm shopping around for homeowners coverage. And to that point, I know what the equity is and the market value of my home is. So I normally do try to get 25 to 50K more than it's worth. But remember, my equity is also pretty good where I may only own 50K on the home. But when I did ask a particular homeowner's insurance, just talking to the agent, like you mentioned, I was shocked that they wanted to, give me a quote for 5 to 10K.
Yeah.
Just leave yours on. You can answer for yours.
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
So you can do that. We can turn that and people that it's gonna be an echo. That's what I was saying. If you cut that down, we all be.
I turned it, but you didn't get it.
You didn't go back in.
So I just wanted to make sure that you got it all out. Yeah. So so once again, insurance is highly regulated. And one thing about insurance is the insurance company is held to a higher standard than the insured. Excuse me. So it's easier for you to walk away from an insurance policy than well, not walk away, but it's easier for you to be backed in the courts or whatever than it is the insurance company, because they are the bigger entity. So if you ever have to take like an insurance company to court or arbitration or anything like that, usually they side in the favor of the insured, the customer, because they would, a lot of times what's argued is that the language should have been clearer in a policy. It should have been, and that the insurance company needs to say what they mean and mean what they say. And I tell people all the time that the insurance company is bound to that policy. Whatever's there in black and white, they're bound to. But they can only get away with what you allow them to get away with. You can't, if you have the right to accept what the underwriters are saying or not accept what they're saying, what the agent is saying, what they're not saying, as far as agreeing to the contract. That's what's important, is whether you agree to the contract or not when it's offered to you. So it sounds like you know what you're doing. It sounds like you have experience with real estate and things of that nature. You know how the game goes. I call it the dance, because that's what it is. It's the insurance dance. If you like I say, like you're saying, you should have a coverage above what it's worth, but not so egregious to where that 2%, which doesn't sound a lot for a deductible, ends up becoming $8,000-$10,000. And a lot of times people don't mind the higher deductible because they want the premiums lower. And so that's the trade-off. When the premiums are higher, the deductibles lower. When the deductibles higher, the premiums are lower. That's the trade-off. So I would just say, just always read. Like I was saying, read, be mindful. And I'm saying this in general to everybody. Read, be mindful, educate yourself on as much as you can when it comes to that. Because what happens is, the insurance company, they don't lie to you, but there's a whole lot of omission. There's a whole lot of, hey, you should have looked it up, you should have read it, you agreed to it, So if you, and that's what I was speaking about, the agents these days versus agents back in the day.
Right.
Agents back in the day made sure you understood what was going on. Agents today are just like paying their premium every month, number 2, 3, 4, 9, 7, 8,
Right.
A, B. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's all they care about. So, is the caller still there?
Yeah, caller, are you still there?
No, you
I
okay,
just
you okay.
listened, yeah.
So I'm just trying not to get too much into the weeds and things with discussing this, but it sounds like you know what you're doing. I'm just kind of speaking to other people who have less real estate knowledge than you have, is you want to make sure, and like when he mentioned the word, property or contents, that's a whole different coverage. That's coverage B, and because that's when you have a lot of times that property that's in the home under coverage B is scheduled. There's a certain amount that you get paid out for important documents. There's a certain set amount you get paid out for jewelry, for different things. Now you can have unscheduled, or you can have scheduled personal property, like if you own art and things of that nature, and you get it appraised, and you get it insured, and for a certain amount and everything. So there's a difference when it comes to scheduled personal property and unscheduled personal property. Unscheduled, like I say, is like when you have a TV, like people TVs may have, burnt out with the power surge, and so that's unscheduled. Scheduled is, like I say, like fur coats, jewelry, certain things that have a limit, like you get, like even like tree removal, is trees and shrubs, like those are set at like $500 usually, like that's the standard for certain things. So it's important to know all of this when you're getting a home, because you want to make sure you're covered for what you need to be covered for, and you're not paying for what you don't need to be covered for, because they will include what you don't need to be covered for in there if you don't know what you're doing. So no, that's separate. That's separate. So like tree removal. So there are two different charges. That's like the trees, because I know there's a lot of trees all over Houston right now. So there's two different types of tree coverages. You have tree removal, then you have tree debris removal. Tree removal is removing a tree off of your dwelling, and that's and then you have tree debris removal. Once they move it off your property, you have to get it cut up and hauled off and all that. So those are two different things. The tree removal is usually capped at 500. Like that's usually the payout for that. That is usually set 500. Now where people get the where you can get it paid out with the contractors or whoever come out to cut it up and remove it, that's when you could put that invoice. The tree debris removal usually isn't capped. Yes. Oh, no problem. Thank you for calling in.
Good. So let me ask you this. So for the purpose of our YouTube listeners, who were unable to hear the question that the caller asked, can you just give us a brief on what we
So he was asking how are insurance companies able to get away with writing up for coverage way higher than what people need. And like I was saying, number one, you need to read the policy. Number two, remember you're in control of it, whether you accept it or not, go with that company or not. And number three, know the value of your home. Like he was saying, he's in a real estate store, so he understands the value of his home and what it's worth. And he will, insure it, 25, 30,000 above what it's worth, but you don't need to insure it for 100, 200,000 more than what it's worth. And then I just went into explaining, personal property and the tree coverages and things, because people don't understand these things, because I'm hearing stories already of people being charged $10, $12, $15,000 for tree removal.
Wow.
And these people know that the insurance company's not gonna go for that.
Kind of trees, yeah, that's crazy.
Like they're not going for that.
Wow.
That's why the tree removal is capped at 500.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because because they have to, if a tree hits your dwelling, your property, they're responsible for ensuring that they have to get that tree off of there.
Right.
Now it's removing the tree from removing the tree or the big branch or whatever. They cap it at 500 because you're just moving it off of the house.
Right.
But to chop it up, remove it, set it to the side, all that, they don't always. I mean, you could get that paid out because cause you're paying for the labor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cause it takes work to
Yeah,
chop
haul
those
it, yeah,
trees,
yeah,
haul it,
yeah,
move it,
yeah.
all of that. You have to have the vehicles to move
Right.
it.
Right.
But I know when I was up in Dallas working earlier in June, the city of Dallas evidently was picking up, was hauling it off for the, like, you had to put it, you know, to
Yeah.
the side of the road, and
Yeah.
and they was hauling it off. I'm not aware if Houston's doing that, but he said that.
Yeah, I don't think they do. I think some areas do, but I don't think a lot of them do. So,
Yeah, so that's another thing to know is city ordinances is so important when it comes to insurance. Cause say you have a home and your roof is damaged, you need your roof replaced. Your old roof may not meet a new city ordinance that was put out there.
Good information.
And so there's another endorsement is betterment endorsement or improvements.
Mhm.
And if you don't have that endorsement, you may be out of pocket for that. Now, if there's certain, I know when Ian hit Florida, if I remember correctly, the governor wasn't wasn't allowing the insurance companies to not pay for the upgrades on the roof that were needed, that was necessary. So it depends state to state. But betterment is another endorsement that people need to look into because city codes change, materials change. I don't even think they make 3-tab shingles anymore. So, and let me explain that about insurance. This may lead to some other questions.
yeah.
So I just want to explain this as well as far as, because people say, oh man, you know, the insurance didn't pay out enough for this and that. So when it comes to what the insurance pays out, especially when it comes to homeowners, the prices aren't set by the insurance companies themselves. The prices are set, the way they get the prices is by the average cost of materials in that zip code. Because the price of materials in, you know, Humble, Texas is different than the price of materials in
In the
San
hood.
Diego, California.
Yeah.
You know, so the insurance companies actually don't set that. So if they write up a policy, if the adjuster writes up an estimate off the damages he saw and writes it up, the insurance company adjuster is not setting those prices. It's an average price for the materials in that zip code. That's why insurance companies love it when people have contractors come out and do inspections and write up estimates because it gives a more accurate number and account.
Yeah.
So, because what happens is if the adjuster says $4,500 worth of damage, because that's the average price of material in the area, and the contractor says, is 5,000, the insurance company isn't gonna haggle too much with that. That's like, okay, it's $500, that's the contractor, they did their inspection, they see everything, they price materials with a broken down estimate, okay, 5,000, boom, pay it out.
Yeah.
Now, if the insurance company saying 4,500 and the contractor saying 9,000, then we got some problems.
Yeah.
So it's important also what contractors you choose to come out, because a lot of these contractors realize that, oh, this insurance company is going to pay out, and they seeing dollar signs.
Yeah.
So not only are they trying to get money out the insurance company, they can hold you up by being greedy. They can mess you up with the, and stuff because they're trying to be greedy.
Right.
So you got to be careful with your contractors as well. But yeah, so don't get mad at the insurance company about when they are paying out for something, what they're paying out, because it's set by the average cost of materials in that zip code. That's how that goes.
Yeah.
So
I didn't
if
know
you
that.
you know if you got some ceiling damage and some roof damage, what that's written up for is going to be using the average cost of materials in that zip code. And like I say, it may be 4,800, and the contractor say, we're saying 5,000. Okay, whatever, 5,000. Go with the you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because the contract is actually in the area. Because what happens is, so the adjuster is only writing up for what they can see. When I go out to a property, to a home and inspect it, I'm just writing up for what I can see. Obviously, if there's some ceiling, water damage on the ceiling, there's some drywall and probably some insulation need to come out of there.
Yeah.
But other than that, we're only writing up for what we can observe and photograph and see. And so once the contractor gets in and doing the work, if they see the full extent of the damage, you have what's called the supplement process, where the contractor can say this is the full extent of the damage, send in photos, write up the rest of the damages, and the insurance company, will review it, and if it's approved, they'll pay out the rest of the money needed to fix that home. That's called supplement. They don't mind doing it, but they hate supplement. They want everything to be paid out the first payment.
Yeah.
But so don't get mad when your adjuster writes up for what it can see and you feel it's not enough. You still have the supplement process, and I want to make that clear because I have to remind people you have up into your policy limits to pay out for fixing your damage. So if your coverage A policy limit is 100,000, you have up to 100,000 to get paid out for to fix your damages.
And you can keep fighting for that if you're
Exactly.
not satisfied. I guess,
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So don't you have up to your policy limits for to get that fixed. So and it's very rare that people go up against their policy limits unless there's a hurricane with like when
Major damage.
when Harvey hit,
Yeah.
the town it hit first, Rockport,
Yeah.
was almost wiped off the map. Like I knew someone who had a niece, I believe, that was working down there, and they were making cake because it was all the houses were knocked down.
Yeah.
So it was nothing you could expect. Total loss,
Right.
You know,
So
pay off the policy limits.
Yeah.
and so that's all you could do. There's no point in expecting.
So do they cut them a check, or do they just say we're gonna rebuild it for you, or how does that
you
total loss wise?
both sides are bound to the policy.
Okay.
If the policy say your coverage A payout is 250,000, for your coverage A you get 250,000.
Wow. Yeah.
So if the house was I've been to houses that were $1 million houses like in North Carolina and different places, and their policies are really big.
Yeah.
So it would come really close to being able to fully replace that house.
But that's what I'm saying. But they give them the check, and they can choose whether they want to rebuild the house or not, or do
Yeah.
they say, hey, with this you have to build a house?
So that's what happened with Hurricane Ian out in Florida. When I was out there, I was calling people on Sanibel Island. They was like, "We in New York.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
What you
What
mean?
talking
You
about,
calling us like we ain't even there? Just send us a check. We don't even know if we want to keep the condo.
Right.
over
Yeah.
there."
So what happens in that case? Like, what you just send them the check?
Once the insurance company, I always tell people, once we pay you out, whatever you do with that money is what you do with that
Oh,
money.
gotcha.
But if you don't get it fixed, and another storm come and we see that same damage, or we can tell that's previous damage with the new damage, you ain't gonna
You
get paid
don't
out,
know
and then
that.
you probably gonna get dropped.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you gonna get dropped.
Yeah.
Cause you just taking that money and doing whatever with
Right.
it. You going to the club,
Right.
and you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
outfits,
Exactly.
and you
Well,
still got water damage.
Right,
in it.
Well, let me ask you this, because I know this has been a big question, man, and I know several people, especially on my job, a couple of people experienced this. So what happens in a case, we was talking about tree damage earlier,
Mhm.
what happens in a case when your neighbor's tree fall on your house
Yeah.
and ruin your roofing? Whose insurance company is responsible for that? Yours or your neighbor's?
So
That's a good question, man.
Yeah, why not?
That's a good
I had
really
two
good
No,
homeowners
because I
experience
have
that.
to
They was
explain.
mad.
Yeah,
I have
that's
to
a
explain
good
this a
question.
lot. So
Man, that's a good
the insurance company is only responsible for if the tree hits your home.
From my neighbor's yard, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
His neighbor's yard.
Yeah, it fell off. It come-
So if your tree hits your neighbor's house,
House, yeah.
you're responsible for getting it off that house.
So if the neighbor's tree hits his yard, the neighbor's responsible, right?
What about my repairs to my
Yeah,
roof?
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So there's one or two ways it could be handled. Actually, I take that back. For homeowners, there's one way that can be handled. Your homeowner's insurance is responsible for your house, your damages regardless.
Okay.
Now, that tree removal is
It's on my
the
neighbors.
neighbor,
Okay,
but the damages to your home,
it's my policy.
your insurance company is responsible for your home, your
Protecting my
dwelling.
home, yeah, okay.
So now, whether they go after the other
Yeah,
person's
yeah,
insurance
yeah,
or not,
yeah.
that's on your insurance company. But they're responsible
Protect-
for taking care of the damages to your home. Even though the neighbor's tree fell on there, they're responsible for getting that removed. If the neighbor's tree fall on your fence, they're responsible, getting it removed. But the damages, once the tree's removed, your insurance company is legally bound
Yeah.
to repair your dwelling.
Okay, and I'm glad, I wanted to bring it up, man, cause a coworker of mine, so his neighbor's tree fell in his yard and tore his roof up, man.
Wow.
And he went out there and he was like, man, the neighbors didn't come apologize, didn't say nothing to him or whatever. And he went to try to talk to him, and the dude wouldn't even have a conversation with him. So he went on his way to have the tree removed from his property,
Right.
get in touch with his insurance company, try to get his roof, repaired. But hey, man, that thing could have got ugly.
Oh,
Because
And
he
a lot
didn't
of times
understand
it
the
does.
process. He didn't understand the process.
A lot of times it does
Yeah.
get ugly.
Yeah.
And another thing about that is fencing. When you live in a home and you got shared, your insurance payout depends on, so say, you know, there's your next door neighbor on the side of your house, y'all share that fencing. Whoever's responsible for that fence gets the insurance payout. And if it's shared responsibility, then it's actually, you get 50% of the payout. So say if you live somewhere and you share a neighbor with a fence with someone, if you paid to put that fence up, if you're responsible for that fence, you would get the insurance payout. If your neighbor's responsible, they would get the payout. If that's the shared fish, y'all both responsible or both paid to put it up, you would get 50% of the payout, they would get 50% of the payout. That's how that works.
Even from that, like, even if that neighbor is not insured with that insurance company?
Hey,
That's just like if we shared a fence and then my insurance company said, all right, it was damaged, I'm gonna pay it out. They don't know you from a homeowner.
doesn't
Are
matter.
they gonna still say, all right, I'm gonna give you 50%?
yeah,
Give
you still gonna
50%?
get your 50%.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they'll say, hey, I'll just give you all the money since you're the insured, and then you give them 50%. You ain't gonna
No.
see that 50%.
No, you're not.
In most
Exactly.
cases.
Exactly. So I mean, once again, if you get paid 50% out and your neighbor doesn't want to do anything, they just have to get a lawyer. I mean, you just have to.
Well, let me ask you this, do the same philosophy apply to the fence as it does to the tree?
Meaning,
Meaning if I put a fence up, I'm responsible for the fence, and it happened to fall into your yard and say damage your doghouse or your gazebo or whatever, am I responsible for just having the fence removed from your property? And then your insurance company,
the fence removed from the property.
if my fence, I put up a fence and it falls on your property, all over your property, say you have a doghouse or a truck, you got a truck, car,
You're 100% responsible, right?
for the fence.
So yeah, they will. You would get paid out for that fence.
But what if it falls, what I'm saying, if my fence falls sideways and your cars happen to be parked in your driveway or whatever, and it damaged your car or whatever,
So
you see what I'm saying?
no, I see what you're
My
saying.
fence
So
would damage your property.
that is a amalgamation of homeowners and auto insurance, because your car insurance wouldn't cover your fence hitting somebody's car.
What I'm saying, but
That's
I'm still responsible for moving the fence off your property.
Yes.
And
yes,
then whatever
definitely.
damage my fence did to your property,
Exactly.
your insurance gonna cover that.
Yeah. So
But they would go after his insurance company.
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
if a fence falls on your neighbor's truck and damages it, they may have to I'm pretty sure what they're gonna have to do is file a claim on their
Okay.
auto insurance.
Auto insurance.
And then they're gonna come after you.
Right.
Yeah, they're gonna come after you. They either your auto insurance or you personally.
And I asked that because I know earlier you was talking about how to keep things separate. You
Yeah.
know, you
Yeah.
have separate policies for different situations.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that. And things get blown out of proportion because, like the book of Hosea said, my people suffer for lack of knowledge.
Right.
If you don't know, you don't know. You know, so that's why platforms like this is important, man.
Yeah, because
Inform people.
man, let me tell you something. Insurance is serious. It's federal. It's you try to defraud it, you gonna do some fair time.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of stuff I have to do and qualify for, or different things I can't do, or else I lose my license, pay a fine, go to prison. You know what I'm saying? Like insurance is highly regulated. It's a highly regulated industry. So yeah, you just gotta kind of make sure you're asking questions and know what you're doing,
Mhm.
because it's easy to mess up on something unintentionally.
Yeah.
Next
You
thing you
assume
know,
things and you don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Yeah. I know you said earlier you were having a Zoom deal tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Where can, if people want to log into that, or how does they?
so
how do
I'm
they-
gonna post that event and the information on my Facebook as soon as we're done here
Okay.
on the Rapology show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
And share it to the Rapology page.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
That's right, because my main goal is to help the community, is to help people, because there's so many so a lot of times people just don't even know the right questions to ask.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
who to talk to,
Right.
who does what,
Mhm.
how, you know, what path to even get started on.
Yeah.
You know, and then once they do get on the path started, they may need somebody to hold their hand a little bit down the path.
Yeah.
We've all needed that,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
So that's what I'm trying to be. And not only that, I know there's gonna be a ton of people who there's fences everywhere. I'm driving around
Yeah.
town, this fence is just
It is.
down everywhere.
Yeah, it is.
And a lot of people, their deductibles are so high that their fences may not be covered.
Yeah.
So they're gonna need people who can reasonably
Yeah.
do fencing, and I'm gonna offer, you know, help people find services for that. Like there's one lady I went to, her granddaughter was abandoned at 3 weeks, and she took her in.
Mhm.
She's lives by herself with her granddaughter,
Yeah.
fixed income. She was like, you know, I really don't have disposable cash. All I have is a credit card for whatever I do. And you know, that stuff like that, it just broke my heart,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Because she's like, if my insurance company, if it's not above deductible, I still need my fence fixed.
Yeah.
Right.
What am I gonna do?
Mhm.
And so it's like, man, like I
Yeah,
just
so-
can't help but just,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, but she's doing a great thing, taking her granddaughter in,
Yes, yeah.
and she can't even get a fence fixed on a fixed income.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, that's my goal, is to really do my best to provide services and help the people during this time.
Right. You know, and it's funny you say that because I think when our power came back on, was it Wednesday evening, Thursday evening? My wife, she was like, let's take a ride by our new house and see if any damage happened to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, this is no house. There ain't nothing happened to that. I just want to go by and see. Lo and behold, while we go by that house, man, the girls, so the neighbors, somebody lived next door. The neighbors, the front half of their fence fell over into the yard we buying, and
Yeah.
the dog house was in the front. Oh, they gotta come get that dog.
So wait, so your neighbor's fence fell into yours?
Yeah, the
So
front
y'all
half.
have a fence over there?
No, they put it up. We don't have no fence.
Oh, okay, so.
So
it's
you
not
can tell they put
It
it up.
just
They
fell in
fence.
there, yeah.
Yeah, this
Okay.
front half
Gotcha.
fell over, but the dog house was way from the backyard in the front yard.
Wow,
Oh man, she was. I'm
Yeah.
like, baby, it was a whole hurricane, a storm. Yeah,
that's fine. That's
yeah, man. You know, but hey, man. So, we having an event next week, Operation Give Back,
Oh yeah.
and it'll be sponsored by One Team One Fight Ministries. You're right here in Sunnyside, and so you know we'll be back out. We'll be out there. We'll be giving back to the community, helping the elderly, giving kids backpacks, haircuts, and what have you. What have you? You're going to be there. with
Yes,
your
sir.
gun. You're going to be available to walk the people through more advice.
Oh yeah,
knowledge,
yeah,
things of that nature.
Oh yeah, because they're already coming out, you know, getting help, and so you know whatever services I can help provide or lead them to, I'm all for it, man. Because listen, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was seeing the aftermath,
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's not like it was forecast to hit us 4 days out.
right, yeah.
It was
wasn't.
probably Saturday, but
Yeah.
it was like, okay, it's a good
It's
chance
coming,
it's
yeah,
coming.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That
You know,
thing's
so a
turning,
lot of
yeah.
people were not
Prepared.
prepared.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so, not to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
And so, what I've learned from this situation, I was unfortunate because we're in an apartment right now. But what I've learned for homeowners, a good thing to have is a generator in times like this. man.
Listen, all you generator companies,
Yes,
all
yes.
you reach out to, because we need to go in and partner up
Yeah.
and stuff.
No,
'Cause
for real,
I've
man.
been a lot more people have generators now. Ever since Harvey, you know,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
people they gave out generators and stuff.
Yes.
Generators are, listen, because my mom, you know, she takes medicine and stuff.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
you know, if you don't have a gas stove, you got to lit, so you can't, you know,
Yeah.
even if you get a generator just to power a few appliances,
Yeah.
Yeah.
refrigerator,
Mhm.
stove,
Yeah.
maybe run your AC unit. That's all you really need.
Yeah, especially for I got an uncle who stays in Katy, man. He's 80 years old,
Yeah.
and I had to check on him, man, because he you know he's in an apartment. He's a senior citizen living,
Yeah.
so they don't have a generator, and he had to sweat it out, man. And then he's getting hyped up and angry, and I'm like, oh, just calm down. You're not helping the situation.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, considering they did come and walk him down there, and then I sit by the pool and go to the break room. Still,
Yeah.
you know, that was for a
That's
couple
tough.
hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's tough.
tough.
That's
Yeah,
tough on the elderly, man.
Yeah.
You know.
And you know how many people a year, every summer, die from, you know,
Yes.
Heat. Yeah,
you know, and the Bible says true religion taking care of the widows and the orphans.
Yes.
yeah.
So we need to be doing more.
Yes.
for our seniors as far when it comes to heat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cause heat is serious.
Yeah, it is. It's
It's serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So that event, where do you know, you have the address to that event, next week so the people can know, or the people can come out, or
Yes,
how
sir.
can they, is it a paid event? Do they
No.
get in free at the door? Like, how is that, you know, can they say they know, they guests of the Rapology show?
Women
and
free
they know
until
exactly.
noon.
They can say they know the Don Shagan, or what, you know, what's, you know,
Well, it's, the event's actually, it's a 3-day event.
okay,
The 20th was a 4-day event, the 24th through the 27th,
okay.
starting at 10 a.m. in Sunnyside, Texas.
So that's Wednesday, July 24th through Saturday,
27th.
July 27th, yes.
Yes, so the 24th is gonna be community cleanup.
Okay,
Well, One Team, One Fight Ministries, coupled with other, nonprofit organizations, gonna go through the community, they're gonna clean it up, cut the grass,
okay,
pick up trash,
yeah,
and whatever else they can do to clean up, Sunnyside, make it look nice, presentable,
gotcha,
and, livable again.
yeah,
The 25th is gonna be senior citizen yard work.
okay,
They're gonna go out, they're gonna cut the senior citizens' grass,
wow,
trim their trees, whatever else they need to do,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
help them out.
absolutely,
The 26th is gonna be feeding the homeless.
Mm.
They're gonna go out, they're gonna go door to door, they're gonna feed the homeless, they're gonna stop on the corners, what have you.
Mhm.
And then on the 27th is gonna be a back to school giveaway, giving away backpacks, school supplies. They're gonna have a basketball tournament against the police in the community, against some, what school is it? Is it Worthing?
Yeah, Worthing is the
Yeah,
high school.
Yeah,
I
the
think.
high school right there, yeah. So that'll be the 27th. For
You
more
gonna,
info,
you gonna lace up your Nikes, or you gonna get out there?
man,
or
I
you
got some
just-
old school Chuck Taylors.
Taylors, yeah, there you go, okay, get out there, the no ankle support, yeah, I got you.
Ankles all wrapped up
Yeah.
around the knees.
Socks to
Yeah,
the knee.
exactly.
Yeah, man, yeah.
With the
So-
two blue stripes.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. So if you're interested in participating in any kind of way, for more information, you can call 832-589-0292. Once again, that's 832-589-0292, One Team, One Fight Ministries. Or you can go on to oneteam15ministries.com for more information.
Good, yeah, sounds like it's gonna be a great event, they're doing, big things in the community,
Yes.
sounds like trying to, make Sunnyside a better place, to, live. And so I know way back in the day, Sunnyside was a prominent area, so. And,
You a product of Sunnyside, ain't
No,
you?
no, I'm not,
I thought you-
no.
Didn't y'all go to school together at one time?
No.
Oh, y'all went to the same?
Yeah, no, I grew up in more Harlem Clark, Missouri City.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
yeah.
you more gangster,
Yeah,
man. You
nah.
gangster.
It was good back in the day, and so I don't know,
Back then.
I don't know right now, but,
Man, yeah,
we
man.
praying for them, so. But yeah, no, that's a good thing, one team, one fight,
Yeah,
doing
one
great
fight.
things, for the community out there. So invite everybody out, come out,
Yeah,
like I said, it's good for the youth as well.
Yes, it's good for you.
Yeah,
Well, and not only that, if you're an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
if you have a brand, a product, or whatever you would like to get out, have promoted, we'll be there live, streaming. The Rapology Show, My Father Business, and guess what? My baritone, white brother John will still be here through the airwaves,
yeah, we holding it down.
making things happen.
Yes,
So I mean,
absolutely.
hey, come on out, let's have a good time, man. Let's give back to the community, man. I got a philosophy, man, that says, if you take care of God's business, God will take care of your business.
Absolutely.
So, part of our mantra is to be, stewards of the cross and to take care of the homeless, the orphans, and those unfortunate, man. So here's the opportunity.
And I want to give a shout out to my cousin Latavia Williams, Tay Tay. This past weekend in New Orleans, we had family reunion and they had some extra food and she asked me to take her and we went and passed out some food to the homeless. So
Mhm.
I want to shout out for her for feeding
That's
those
what's up.
people.
That's what's up.
It's funny because we the first person we gave was this lady and we gave her some food and we went around the corner and gave some guys some food and they was like, hey, don't forget, it's a lady around the corner, make sure you take her some food and stuff. And it's just crazy that you got people who both work at a corporate job making 6 figures and they're at each other's throats trying to take each other down
That's
and
crazy.
both making
Yeah.
6 figures,
Yeah.
both winning,
Yeah.
both earning, and then you got people who are homeless looking out for each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
So I just want to
Amazing.
give a shout out to Tay Tay for thinking of people, you know, it was red beans and rice and sausage.
Wow.
You know, this was so it wasn't just
Oh, yeah, no, regular
ham and cheese
yeah,
or something.
yeah.
This was some
Cajun food,
This
man.
was some
Yeah,
food,
real,
some
yeah.
stick to 'em food. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and I also want to give a shout out to Izzy Belly, watching from Brazil. So we got
Okay.
people
Okay,
watching,
okay.
listening,
Yes,
Julian
sir.
and Cuzzo, what's going on, Preston. Appreciate you coming on. So I just want to shout out people who are, you know, calling in, listening, participating.
Support the cause,
We
yeah.
appreciate y'all. We want to shout y'all out.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's
And
what
I just want to give a shout out to you and Pastor Calvin, man. You know, it's easy to talk that talk, but when it's time to really walk that walk, very few of us are capable of showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
and like you were just
Yeah.
shouting out to your cousin, you know, during the storm, we went around and fed the homeless. You know, throughout the storm, this brother, Pastor Calvin, was in New Orleans talking about Bible study.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah,
man, we're in the
yeah.
storm.
Leading people, yeah.
But they was
Yeah,
still doing
yeah.
what they was called to do, man. I commend that, man.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people look for just an excuse not to show up.
Yeah.
You know, I ain't gonna make that happen.
Yeah,
man, you know.
it's raining. ain't
Yeah, it's
it?
raining.
Yeah.
My internet down, all
Yeah.
that good stuff.
Yeah.
But that leads me to my next question. You never did get back with us, man. You still got the public on hold with your last series, man, your teaching series, part 1, part 2, part 3 that we were covering.
Oh yeah, I still
What's
gotta
going
do
on with
part 3.
what's going on
Well,
with that?
the
Talk to me.
building that I was doing it at, man, they around the corner suffered some extensive roof damage. So
Oh, wow.
we just going.
Was it because of the storm?
Because of the storm?
Wow, see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't because of, you know, some brothers trying to lift their sick brothers down for Jesus to pray for them. But I had some friends right there.
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
okay, man.
That's something.
Yeah.
It's good
Yeah.
to have a
It
good
is.
circle around you. It's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of what even with the insurance, it's good to have somebody to help you through the process.
Yeah.
Whether it's a contractor, whether it's a public adjuster, attorney, whoever, because sometimes going up against the insurance company, you know, and you don't understand insurance,
Mhm.
you know,
It's tough, yeah.
yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. So, you know, insurance companies can go back and forth where if it's on the line where it's like maybe, you know, they're gonna, you know, look out for themselves before they look out for you.
Right, absolutely, yeah,
For
yeah,
their
that's what they
own
do.
interests. So
Yeah.
it's just good to it's good to know your most people get their policy and never ever look at it.
Yeah, yeah.
Never don't even, you know, have no idea what, like I say, in the state of Texas, full coverage on auto is liability, comprehensive, and collision.
Yeah.
That's full coverage.
Yeah.
People think they have liability, think their liability is full coverage. That's not full coverage. That's state minimum.
Yeah.
So comprehensive is everything but a car in your car,
Yeah, yeah,
basically.
yeah,
And you know, collision is, you know, liability takes care of the other party. Collision is what gets your vehicle fixed.
Yeah.
So that's full coverage.
Yeah.
Then you have other stuff like uninsured motorists, underinsured motorists, medical payments.
But uninsured motors is a
That's
must.
must, yeah.
It's a
It's a must.
Okay.
Yeah, because and underinsured as well.
Yeah,
That's what
and they may not have enough coverage.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Now, right quick, because a lot of people, I had to explain this to my ex girlfriend years ago. She
Yeah,
thought.
make that clear.
Yeah, make that clear, man. Yeah, 'cause I know my wife is like, he ain't explaining it to me.
She is in a prison
Yeah, so,
ministry,
yeah.
but-
So, but, yeah, she didn't understand. So she thought, we were doing her policy one time, and she thought, she like, well, I'm not gonna cover no motors in my car, but nobody need to get paid off. And I'm like, that's not what that's about, baby. That's in the event that somebody who's uncovered hits you, you still get comped from your insurance company. And we argued, she swore to God it was for, you know, covering passengers she had, and I was trying to explain to her that wasn't the case.
Yeah,
So, yeah, and a lot of people don't know that,
exactly.
you know.
So yeah, you want to have, and you got to know your limits of liability as well, because with your liability, you have coverage for total amount paid out for each individual person. You have to know how much your coverages are, because if the liability don't cover their medical bills or whatever,
Mhm.
guess where the rest is coming from?
You?
Yeah.
Your pocket.
So let me ask a question in that example there. Let's just say, you know, we all in the car together or whatever, and I'm driving, it's my insurance policy, and then we get in an accident or whatever. So you guys aren't on my policy, but let's just say you get hurt or shaken up or whatever. My liability could get y'all paid, or,
Not if they're in your car, liabilities for the other party.
but that's what I'm saying, like what part of
Your
my
full
policy,
your full coverage.
what part, yeah, if I have full
Yeah.
coverage, what part of my policy would say, hey, we got in an accident, it's my fault, and then the two people in my car got injured. You know what I mean? Like what part?
Medical payments.
Oh, is that okay? So it's under that, under
Because
that.
collision is for your vehicle, liabilities for the other party.
Okay, but so that falls under the comprehension part?
No.
Oh, it's just an actual, you need to have medical
Medical
payments, you need to have that in the
Exactly.
policy, gotcha.
Now, and also, I want people to know, because this is another thing that I didn't understand, so I got the insurance when it come to auto, is if you're driving somebody else's car, you hit somebody, the person whose insurance is responsible is not the person who's driving the car, it's that vehicle's insurance.
Gotcha.
Now the person who is driving insurance will be secondary if the car's policy is not enough to cover whatever, but it's the car policy, not the person who's driving. 'Cause a lot of people are like, well, they was driving my car.
Yeah.
It's still your car.
So what if they're not listed as a driver?
It doesn't matter
Oh,
if you gave them permission to
Yeah.
drive. If they took the car without permission, that's something totally
Yeah,
different.
that's
But if you gave them permission to drive the vehicle,
Yeah.
there's essentially almost like a ghost coverage
Yeah.
type of deal because you gave them permission to drive it.
right.
But it's the car insurance that's liable, not who's driving it. Of course, unless it's the person who owns the car who's driving it. But because people get that confused, well, they was driving my car,
Right.
and so why aren't they insurance? Because it's not about who was driving; it was the vehicle that hit. Yeah. So, that's important to know too. Because a lot of people don't know that. They think that if somebody's driving their car, their insurance is supposed to cover that. Ain't gonna happen that way.
Gotcha. Yeah, I get a question all the time. I know we talked about this a little bit on the break about life insurance, about what's better to get, like whole life or just term life.
It depends. It 100% depends on the person, the situation, what age you are,
Mhm.
medical situation, your financial situation.
Yeah.
It is a whole lot of factors that play into that. But one thing I will say, black folks, get some life insurance.
Yeah.
We tired of buying fish plates
Right,
so you can bury Pookie.
right.
I'm not trying to be funny.
No, but that's
No,
real.
but
That's
it is what
real.
it
Yeah,
is.
they can't have enough to. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
real.
And life insurance is
It's
is
not
very
expensive.
cheap. Yeah, it's very cheap. I think
It's
it's like
not expensive.
$17 a week
Yeah,
to
it's
my
not-
job.
Yeah, it's
You know,
not
but I mean,
expensive.
you still can't beat that.
Right.
My grandma used to always say, Pastor Calvin, I done paid my life insurance off. All y'all gotta do is put me in the ground.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they,
And then might have some left over, you never
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
for your kids or whoever. And there's life insurance where you could pull from it for while you still alive.
Yeah, see, that was
You know,
another
different-
question that because they had asked me they asked that question about, they see a lot of videos out there where people talking about they pull from their life insurance to, some of them pull from it to buy assets to get rich,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
to do things, which is kind of smart, which is very smart actually. But another question they ask about term insurance, they say, hey, when the term runs out, do they get that money?
It depends on how it's set.
You know what I mean? Like because hey, I've been paying
That's a
on
good
this
question.
policy for 20
Yeah.
plus years,
Mhm.
and now I've outlived the policy.
Yeah, that's right.
Do I get that?
Get that money back,
They
yeah.
gonna cut me a check?
Yeah.
Do I get a portion of it? You know what I mean? And so, do you know too much? Do you know anything about that?
I don't know a whole
That's
lot
much.
about life insurance. I don't want to lie to y'all, but there are people who do end up outliving their life insurance, and they get a pretty decent payout. I'll say that.
Yeah, because that question comes up all the time.
Well, I mean, life insurance is just so crazy. Like,
Yes.
so many different factors, so many different ways, so many different types or different things to know about it. That's a whole lot. Like, that's a whole presentation in itself.
Yeah.
To understand life insurance, because, like you say, term life is different than whole life.
Yeah.
And all these different things and what you can do with it, how it works, and how you pay into it, who can get a policy on you,
Yeah.
and because people getting life insurance policies on family members, you know,
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah.
And then you got your jobs that can
Yeah, yeah.
offer it, and
One thing with
Make
that,
it
with the
to it.
job is, I know a lot of times they say like, man, make sure you get, more insurance than your job.
Yeah.
Not just at your job, because if that job runs out or you leave, that insurance stops typically,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah,
And so, but yeah,
or you like Enron, and
Yeah,
you lose it all.
definitely, yeah. No, I definitely was a product of that, or a
Yeah,
victim
you
of
was
that.
with
Yeah.
Enron.
Yeah, I was in,
Mhm.
and I got in at a good time where, I was making a lot of money there. Like they were overpaying people there. Like, and it was a good job. I mean, they was setting people out and everything. And so, but I had just started getting into the investment part of it. I think I was probably 6 months. 'Cause I remember talking to somebody like, yeah, you should invest this. I was in my 20s. And
Good age.
and yeah, and I was about to start and do all that. Then that rug got, pulled out from under me. And so my only regret is I didn't have a backup plan. Cause that money that I was making, I was wild. I was splurging, I was like, hey, I'll do that when I'm 50,
It's okay.
And now that I am,
you have to tell us
it's
about
like,
that secret.
yeah.
Yeah, for real, right?
Look at
Yeah. No,
that
but
offshore account.
But now that I am, I see like, man, you see some of the mistakes. So
Yeah.
now I'm at an age where I'm trying to help others.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of people and it's a lot of information out there, video wise and all that stuff about talking about investing and doing the right thing with your money. But everybody has the opportunity to put themselves in a position to be financially free.
Right.
And so it's just, they got to do the work. That's the thing.
Let me ask you this right quick.
Yeah.
Before we
I know we're
close.
about to-
Before we close, I got to ask you this because I know some of our listeners, man,
Yeah.
would love to tune into this. So you and your wife spoke a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what last Saturday. Yeah.
Let me ask you this here.
Yeah.
So did y'all happen to record what was it called? No money,
Oh yeah, no money, no honey.
no honey.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
Oh,
we didn't have any
man.
recording.
Oh, that's right. Let's do the
yeah,
storm.
Yeah,
All the
yeah, it was
stuff,
bad.
stuff
Yeah, it was a
oh.
lot of. We had a lot of stuff going against us that weekend
Yeah.
because, like I said, we talked a little bit about the hotel situation,
Yeah.
and then it was a lot of people who actually paid to come to the deal and couldn't show up because they couldn't fly in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
bad. And so even when we went on a little party cruise after the fact.
Yeah.
They were getting us to try to text people to say, hey,
Don't come out.
come on out because it was already paid for, but the
Yeah.
people just didn't show up.
Yeah.
We had a lot of, it was last minute, yeah, it was last minute. And so, cause we didn't, like, let's just say if the event was, if the event ended at, I don't know, 1-ish, 2-ish, we had to leave by 4 to get down there on time. And it was like, oh man, text everybody you know. And I'm like, man, they came, maybe we way out of the port. They can't make it out here in time. And then we're going to Galveston,
Right.
it was just last minute. And but for those who were there, it was good, man. We like I said, it was the ones who were there, we talked about a lot of good stuff about how finances can cause division in
Right.
relationships and marriages.
Well, let me ask you
So-
this. When can the Rapology
We can talk about it. I
audience?
mean, we can
we need to get you and the wife on here to
Yeah.
talk about
That's
no
right.
money,
we
no
can
money.
we can
Yeah.
we'll talk. I'll get back with you.
Yeah,
we'll definitely
that'd be-
yeah,
that'd be
You have a
definitely.
show with the couples.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're
Step
talking
out the
about.
way,
Yeah, we have a show with the
Yeah.
couples and talk about stuff. We can cover a wide variety of things,
Yeah.
just in relationships, period.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
believe it or not, in relationships, man, if you think about it, we all pretty much go through some of the same
Yeah,
struggles.
Yeah.
Now
Money is the number one.
right,
number
it
one.
is.
Yeah.
It is. It's in the top 3. And so money is in the top 3 of reasons that lead people to divorce court.
Give me the other two, just do real briefly.
Infidelity, cheating.
The money.
Yeah. And domestic
Oh,
violence.
domestic violence, yeah.
Domestic abuse. Yeah.
And what people fail to realize is that a lot of people, when they hear domestic violence, they think
They think
the
it's the
man
man,
being
yeah,
the Cooper.
yeah.
No, that don't have to always be like that.
Yeah.
You know, you
yeah.
still got women throwing hot grits on brothers. And
Yeah.
sisters.
Not the high grade.
Man, I'm
Yeah.
old school, man.
Yeah,
They probably
yeah.
ain't doing the grits.
Yeah. No, they're
Yeah.
not. But that event, like I said, man, the
Yeah,
event was nice,
that'd be
even though
good,
it
man.
wasn't. A lot of people didn't show up. It was still over 100 something people there,
Yeah,
which is a good turnout.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
turnout.
yeah. In that
So,
situation, yeah.
but yeah, and they had stuff for everybody. It was stuff for the
Yeah.
singles there.
Yeah.
I remember one of the sessions was single and satisfied.
Yeah.
And that's tough sometimes because
Yeah.
I remember being single, trying to live for God and
Yeah.
all that, but it's a lot of temptation out there.
Yeah.
especially if you're making money or doing your thing or you're doing positive things or whatever. And then I thought, like, man, when I got married, it was all that craziness was gonna be over, but it seemed like that brings out more temptation.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You
But
know.
we're gonna talk about it when
Yeah,
we talk
yeah,
about
I
these.
was about to
When we
say,
bring
your
these
wife,
couples
yeah,
up.
your
Right?
wife.
Hear
Oh
that?
yeah, we're gonna talk. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
we
have to
are.
have my referee shirt on.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, we're gonna, like I said,
Yeah.
we'll bring it on. You know, we'll
Okay,
set that
that's
up and
what's
bring
up.
it on the Rapology show here, and because people need that.
Yeah.
A lot of
Most
people, and some things that came out of this, the deal last Saturday was a lot of people go. A lot of people go through the same things,
Mhm.
but then they don't know how to deal with it.
Right.
They don't, because most people, when they don't understand something, they just automatically, it just leads to anger. They get
Yeah.
mad and they lash out at the other person. They lash out at their spouse. Their spouse can be coming to them with good intentions. Like, hey, let's just work it out, blah, blah, blah. And then for the other one, they may think, oh, well, you saying I don't know how to handle money.
Yeah.
You blaming me. What you saying I can't handle money, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, hey, let's just work it out. Let's get to this next level financially or relationally, whatever, spiritually, whatever. And they jump
Get
like,
your feelings,
yeah.
Get your feelings, man.
And it's not about that. And so I know, like I said, I know we're about to wind up here, but
So
how can two walk together unless
they agree, right?
That's it.
That's right. So what can the audience expect from John to be loved next week?
Yeah, so it's probably gonna be me and Vicky here,
Okay.
depending on what she and I'm working on a guest.
Okay.
I talked to him actually yesterday to see if he may be available. We'll maybe talking about real estate, the guy, Mr. Zay Cole, yeah.
Okay.
And so if he doesn't show up, I'm gonna bring some more brothers back on the show. And we're gonna talk about this relationship thing again.
Okay.
And it's gonna be good to have Vicky on here because she's fiery.
Oh yeah.
And she jumps like, now, wait a minute, she's quick to, and some of the brothers they gonna challenge that.
No.
And so I'm hoping that the real estate dude can come on here to avoid that. And so because that'll be something for all of us to be here for a relationship type of show. So but yeah, so that's what we're gonna expect. You know, like I said, we'll be talking about real estate, talking about investing and things like that. And that's
we may have to. You just said your referee show. You might have to dip up in here every now and then, like every other hour or two.
Yeah.
Next week, because last time we did that, what was it? Divorce, marriage,
marriage,
divorce,
and
you said you told Vicky, you said, I know you don't agree with Vicky sitting right here. She's
she was hot. She was hot. We talked about that after or whatever. Yeah. And she has some choice words for me. So I like provoking that because
it brings good.
That's what it brings out. It brings out that's your real feeling.
That's right.
So we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Because even on that other deal she was hot about we were talking about how men sacrifice a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody gave the example of if he was into fishing before, and then he gives that up just for the sake of you, and they're like, no, he ain't got to give it up. And then through all that conversation, they proved that he gave it up.
Yeah.
And then when I chimed in and said, that's exactly what I'm talking about, then they get mad.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it, and so, but it's good conversation.
Great conversation.
Yeah. So again,
John, Miss Vicky.
Yeah. So stay tuned. Like I said, stay tuned to the Rapology show. We're gonna have some upcoming great shows in store, dealing with relationships, just dealing with life, period. And so that's what we do here. We're wisdom, knowledge, and overstanding rules. We're winding down now, and so any last words, fellas?
It's been a great time, man, as always, and God says the same. We'll see you guys next week.
Definitely, yes. Stay tuned. Remember to like, share, subscribe.
Yes,
We're on all platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook.
All of them.
Again, things are growing. We're doing it. So we definitely appreciate all of our listeners, all of our subscribers, supporters. Again, we do want to hear from you guys, so call in. It's okay to call into the show. I know you guys listen and you comment and all that stuff, but it's okay to call in. We want to hear what you got to say. And so we're going to keep shouting you guys out and keep doing our thing here. So again, I am Brother John here. We got Brother Muhammad and the one and only the Don Shagan. Yeah, that's the new name there, the Don Shagan, with his expertise on insurance. Yeah, he's gonna be here tomorrow with his Zoom, and stay
Yes.
tuned. And then next week at the One Team, One Fight event. Again, stay tuned. We're doing big things here at the Rapology Show. So again, thanks for tuning in here on CO Radio. We're here every Saturday from 1 to 3. Hey, we signing out. So we out. Hey.
Peace.
Good.
Oh, I'm finna go take a nap.
Yeah.